Huawei not only did not collapse under the U.S. technology blockade, but also unveiled multiple new Ascend chips, including the Ascend 950, 960, and 970 series, at the Fully Connected conference on September 18th, and these chips will be launched gradually from 2026 to 2028. But what is most troubling for Americans is not this, but the CEO of American AI companies, Amorti, publicly criticizing the Trump administration, stating that the chip policy towards China is the most catastrophic decision. What the hell is going on here? The chip policy of the United States this year has indeed been like riding a roller coaster. In April this year, NVIDIA's sale of H20 chips to China was just suspended. In July, it quietly approved the resumption of exports and also required NVIDIA to pay 15% of its sales revenue in China. This constantly changing approach is not even acceptable to American entrepreneurs. CEO Amorti fired directly in Washington, saying that the Trump administration did something wrong with chip export controls. Have to say, Amorti's words are indeed quite reasonable. He believes that chips may be the only advantage that the United States has over China, because in other aspects such as warship manufacturing and ammunition production, the United States has fallen far behind China. However, the Trump administration has played a game of half blockade and half compromise in this last advantageous field, wanting to maintain its technological advantage, but also reluctant to part with China's huge market. As a result, neither side has been favored, and Huawei's performance is very impressive. In the years of technology blockade in the United States, Huawei not only launched the Ascend 950 series chips, but also independently developed low-cost HBM memory and developed the Link interconnection protocol, which can form ultra-large-scale clusters and take a differentiated route to avoid process shortcomings and focus on cluster efficiency. This combination of punches is not only against NVIDIA's H20, but also against higher-end chips. The chip roadmap released by Huawei this time has been planned until 2028, which is equivalent to telling the world that China's chip industry is no longer following others, but has its own pace and plan. The progress of doubling computing power once a year supports more precision formats, such as FP8. There's also a larger internet bandwidth, which puts pressure on the technology iteration speed even in the U.S. tech industry. The scene of the Chinese side's interview with NVIDIA is even more impressive. The Cyberspace Administration of China pointed out that there is a risk of vulnerabilities and backdoors in the H20 chip, and it is suspected that the chip has embedded positioning and tracking functions. Even with remote control capability, NVIDIA is required to submit proof materials. This move not only demonstrates China's attitude towards cybersecurity, but also makes American companies realize that in order to make money in the Chinese market, they must accept China's security review. To put it bluntly, the technology dependency strategy of the United States has completely failed, as it aims to maintain its technological advantage through simplified versions of chips without losing the Chinese market. The result was that nothing was saved, and Chinese companies such as Huawei accelerated their self-developed replacements, leading to the rapid rise of domestically produced large models, which instead put the United States in a passive position in global computing power competition. Now, even their own entrepreneurs are starting. Criticizing government policies, according to the latest statistical data, China's share of global computing power is constantly increasing. And with the gradual improvement of Huawei's Ascend chip ecosystem, the power to formulate global computing power standards is also undergoing subtle changes. Previously, American companies set standards and the world followed suit. But now Chinese companies have also begun to have their own voice. This multipolar competition in computing power is exactly what the United States is most concerned about. Amorti was very direct when criticizing the Trump administration. He is not worried about what China will do with American chips, but about the United States losing its leadership position in the AI field due to policy swings. After all, technological development waits for no one. relaxing regulations today and tightening them tomorrow. This uncertainty is fatal to any industry. Nowadays, the chip policy of the United States is in a dilemma, and strict blockade will result in the loss of the Chinese market and revenue. Relaxing regulations and worrying about technology outflow, Chinese companies have found their own development opportunities in this swing. The success of Huawei Ascend chips is the best proof. In the coming years, as more Chinese companies make breakthroughs in the chip field, the global competition for computing power will inevitably undergo fundamental changes.